FSF PopCast live show. Hello. Howdy, kids and cadets. Welcome to the FSF PopCast. This is our live show. Tonight has the potential to be a little bit more unhinged than normal. So, this is a happy hour because the world sucks as of late. We're all stressed, and we thought, you know what? What would be more fun than getting online, having a little drinky drink and talking with our friends. So tonight we're having a little drinky drink, talking with our friends. We're going to talk about some nerd stuff. We're going to talk about some fun stuff. And got a couple cool things to share with you guys. And we'll get all into all of that here pretty shortly. But yeah, very
my camera's
excited.
not even drinking and can't focus.
Exactly. So tonight I will be partaking in this lovely bottle of Irish whiskey. This is called Roe & Co. It's from Dublin. It's an Irish whiskey. If you're fond of Irish whiskeys, as I am, which Graham McTavish told me was heresy, but that's Graham and he's Scottish, and we're just going to ignore that comment for the moment. Anyway. The
fact that you can just so casually in a conversation drop well, Graham McTavish told me.
Right? That's one of the cool things about what we do, right? It's just like, well, when Sam Witwer told me, when Graham McTavish told me.
When Will make me cry.
Yeah, exactly, right? Let's see. Tonight we play the FSF drinking game. Every time Tim says, take a drink of water. Nothing but water, because Anyway, I have watched How I Met Your Mother. I know how this game is played, John.
So Tim has Roe & Co. I have coffee, but in my coffee is the Michigan cherry liqueur, because it is the Traverse City or the Cherry Republic Cherry Boom coffee that then I put cherry liquor in.
This stuff is honestly, this Roe & Co. goes down so smoothly. It's a problem. I have to convince myself to not drink it all, because I'm like, oh yes, this is delightful. Glug, glug, glug. Yeah.
So I am drinking for a theme because I have a girls' weekend coming up.
Okay.
I bought girls' trip shirts for.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
Excellent. Well, I hope you have fun.
Thank you. There's going to be a lot of Traverse City associated alcohols in my body.
Excellent. Let's see. John says, did the Jaguars even show up on Sunday? No, that wasn't even a high school team. That was a JV team. I felt so bad for them, honestly. By about the third quarter, I was like, they're dead. Just stop. They're already dead.
Well, and it was funny. It's I just have the Google score pinned to my phone. So anytime the Lions game starts, it'll pop up on my home screen. Because I don't necessarily always have the time or the ability to sit and watch the game. So I had it popped up on my phone, and I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, okay, so the game started. And then it was the Jaguars scored. Man, this isn't going so well for the Lions so far. Oh, hi, Anoa. Hi. I'm like, oh, man, no, the Jaguars are scoring this early? No, that's bad. And that was all they did. Never mind.
That was all they got. They got the 2 field goals, and that was it. 52-6. I felt so bad for them. I really did. Because, it hasn't been announced yet, at least that I haven't seen, but I'm expecting at some point this week the entirety of that Jaguars front office and coaching staff to get the out of here.
Right.
Because that's a rough go.
There was something Luke said to us earlier today about the game. Where did it go? Oh, think about this. The Lions had more touchdowns than the Jaguars had points.
Yeah. The Lions had 7 touchdowns. They had 6 points. He's absolutely right. They out yardaged them by 650 to 160. Granzier says, Tim, it wasn't a real cat fight. Cat fight. No pity for the other kitty. Guttural meowing sounds.
Right, and that's the thing. I've got 3 cats, and their fights are worse than what just happened.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, you know what? Before we get too much farther, we should also mention that our show is made possible by the support of our show partners. They help bring this show together every week, and that is Eddie AI. They help us make our shorts, our clips, our YouTubes, all those types of things. And then, of course, TCT, where fandom meets fashion. They are our nerdy merch provider. And of course, the only Level Up Sabers. It's the only place you should be buying a lightsaber from, because their lightsabers are guaranteed to be better than a stick.
Also, if
yeah.
listeners are a part of the Funny Science Fiction group on Facebook, I have posted a link in that group to a TikTok of Master Allen's, so Level Up Saber. He is trying to get 100,000 views on a video so that he can send a Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber to a deserving fan and deserving follower. Let's do the nice thing. Let's
absolutely, yeah.
The link. Engage with the video.
Emma Half Elven, I believe her name is. The one that he's trying to help, and she seems really sweet and very genuine in her inability to purchase her own saber. And so we have liked and reposted that video and commented on it, hoping that we can help get her the views that she needs so that she can get herself a saber. Because honestly, it's really cool not only just to watch it light up, but then to go whack somebody with it.
It is. There's so much fun. I don't have one easily reached. It's up there.
Oh, thank you, Granzer. I'm glad you like our swag. We try to. We try to make sure we run with people who have cool things to play with and see and all that fun stuff. And if you are at home participating in happy hour, like I am participating in happy hour, Row & Co. Irish whiskey, available for sponsorships, Row & Co. Anyway, but if you are participating in happy hour at home, let us know in the comments what you're drinking, and we're going to start talking about some stuff here, because there's a lot that's happened since the last time we were on a live show. And yeah, so we got some things. There are things to discuss. Speaking of cat fights that weren't very good.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't want to talk about it. I mean, I know we have to.
We don't have to talk about it, but I want to talk about it because this was one of the worst staged fights I've ever seen in my life.
I stayed up way too stinking late for that.
Right?
Bull crap.
Right? I stayed up. I've said this on a couple different posts out on the socials, that I felt like I was watching a middle school Christian dance where they had to like stand arms widths apart so they could make room for Jesus. Yeah, make room for Jesus. Yeah. That, but I will say this. Kudos to Mike Tyson for reading his contract and knowing that if he knocked out Jake Paul, he didn't make any money. If he made it all the way through the end, he made $20 million.
Biting his glove because he wanted just to punch the stupid off of that man's face.
Yeah. Yeah. And John, you're absolutely right. Mike Tyson was contractually prohibited from throwing the punch that would have knocked Jake Paul back to 1994. So, and that's what I was hoping to see. I'll be honest with you. Every time Jake Paul would leave himself open for that classic uppercut, I was like, here it comes. Here it comes.
No.
And it never happened.
There were so many things beyond the fight that were wrong with it anyway. I mean, the fact that I understand that money is money and 20 million is 20 million. And I understand that you would do what you need to do to get your paycheck.
To make the monies.
But also, what the crap?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
The buffering and the streaming issues, I understand that Netflix just didn't realize, I don't think their servers were ready for what was going on. Also, that makes me excited. Heck trained those cameramen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What worries me is so Netflix now is trying to get into some of the live sporting event things, and they're going to be airing 2 NFL games on Thanksgiving Day. I can't wait for the uproar that's going to come when somebody is dialed back to throw a touchdown and they get the little swirly screen of death on Netflix. Or they get told that they can't watch it because they're not at the house of where their contract is or wherever,
Right. Or your current subscription doesn't include live shows.
Yeah.
Netflix is becoming what he was supposed to destroy.
But instead of, honestly, the best fight of the night was the 2 ladies before this fight.
Serrata and Taylor?
Yeah, that was an amazing fight, honestly. And I don't watch a lot of boxing. Actually, I watch about this much boxing. I watched this one just because I wanted to see Mike Tyson disintegrate Jake Paul. I was a little worried going into it that it might not happen. Yeah, I was a little worried that it might not actually happen, and I thought something was going to be a little fishy about it. But so yeah.
But okay, so contractually obligated, not throwing uppercuts. They barely touched each other. This is This is her eyebrow, where her eyelid is now half over her face.
Oh yeah, no, the women were throwing down and hardcore too. There was some major hits.
Yeah. There were, but then the afterward when the one trainer was like, "Well, if we got refs who knew what they were doing," and apparently, Katie Taylor is known for leading with her head and busting people's eyebrows open, and then not getting called for headbutts because it's just her posture, and it's like.
Yeah, there was a lot of things wrong with this whole Netflix thing, and any respect I had for Jake Paul, which was zero, went out the window when I found all the stipulations and restrictions he put on so he could make himself look like a boxer.
Oh my gosh! So, and like John and I were talking about it, Jake's scores of 10-1. The one time he lost is the only time he's actually boxed a professional boxer.
Yeah, I believe that.
And as stupid and petty as it is, like, of all of the things that happened during that fight, during the 4 hours leading up to this 30-minute fight, Jake Paul in his stupid green truck with his sing-along, and then he couldn't even get the drum solo right.
You mean the drive up in the truck that took a half an hour because that truck, they tried to make it look like somebody was driving, but I'm like, dude, that thing's on a guided track.
Right. And going like a million
Mach 0
per hour.
They're going all kinds of Mach 0.
As his brother's spraying him down with Axe body spray because he's got a stupid gig thing with them. I'm sorry. I got very
smelling like a 12-year-old boy who just left the locker room by the time he got to the ring.
I did tell John while we were watching it too, and we were like watching about when they did the intro to the fighters and they're talking about Jake, and I'm like, this is why men my age are stupid. This is why I married older, because good God, he's dumb.
That he is. Okay, well, I've talked enough about this.
But seriously, not getting the drum fill right. When you're going to do an air drum solo, at least get the timing right.
And it's not like it's an unknown one, by the way. I mean, it was In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. It's like internationally known.
Can do it.
Everybody knows that drum solo. And Mr. I wish I was a boxer, couldn't get it right. Okay, I've talked enough about him.
Get him off our screen.
Get him off our screen. Next, Linkin Park has a new album out, ladies and germs. This is huge for me because I'm a big Linkin Park fan, and this is their first album in 8 years, I believe.
Post-Chester.
It's their first album, post-Chester. And their new singer is Emily Armstrong. She comes from a band called Dead Sarah, which I was a fan of Dead Sarah before she came to Linkin Park. And I know that she has taken a lot of flack for not being Chester, but that's also the same flack that was given to Jeff Goot, the lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots, for not being Scott Weiland, and William Duvall from Alice in Chains for not being Lane Staley.
Yeah.
They can't help it that they're not those people.
And she's not trying to be Chester.
Yes, exactly. John said, let's see, From Zero is a solid album. Emily isn't Chester, but she isn't trying to be. I dig it. I feel the same way. Honestly, this album, I don't have to skip anything. I can just let it play. And I haven't been able to say that of the last probably 2 to 3 Linkin Park albums where I didn't want to go, I don't care for this song, and I skipped it. So, with this one, I'm able to just set it up, put it on, let it play, and let it go. And if you don't think that Emily Armstrong can scream, she can scream. You need to go back to Dead Sarah and check out the song Violent. You check out the Weatherman, and a few others. And if you don't think that she can scream, then before she got to Linkin Park, then you have clearly missed the boat on this one.
There was Evanescence and Hailstorm covered a Linkin Park song, and now that Linkin Park has a female vocalist as well, I wonder if Hailstorm and Linkin Park would team up again, because I can only imagine Lizzie and Emily together.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It's gonna be pretty.
Anything with Lizzie Hale, I'm like, yes, please, I'll listen.
She could scream the phone book to us, and we'd be fine.
Oh, she has an amazing voice.
And a really good hug.
That's right. You met her, didn't you?
I got a hug from her and guitar picks.
Nice. Yeah, and Linkin Park does have tour dates in Michigan next year, so I'm curious about those. I'll be looking into those. But one of my running joke this week, because the album has been out for 3 days now, is that this is Michael Bay. Like, where's my next song for my next Transformers movie?
Right.
And there is one on there. It's called Talking Over You or something like that. Hold on. The name of it is... I actually was listening to Linkin Park on my way home. That's on my phone right there. Yeah. Go figure. Let's see. It is called Over Each Other. If you listen to that, I'm like, that's like syncs up perfectly with what the end credits might look like on a Transformers movie. And I'm like, yeah, I could totally see that happening. That'd totally be a Michael Bay song to use. Linkin Park has a long running history with Michael Bay, so that's a possibility. So, but yeah. So if you're on the fence about listening to the Linkin Park album because it's not Chester Bennington, please put that to the back of your mind. Just go listen to it, even if you have to listen to it as a new artist, a new Mike Shinoda project. It's very good. It's a very solid album. I'm not saying that it's Hybrid Theory or Meteora over again, which I'm glad that it's not, but it is a very solid addition to the Linkin Park discography, and I think it's very worth your listen, whatever music app you're listening to. John says, "Oh, what if Michael Bay got to direct a Star Wars movie?" No. Lens flare is more of a J.J. Abrams thing. He already did the lens flare thing in Star Wars. But yeah, Michael Bay. I mean, he's not bad. He just likes explosions. I mean,
who doesn't?
But he likes unnecessary explosions.
All explosions are necessary to him.
If Zack Snyder and Michael Bay were to co-direct a movie together, it would be nothing but explosions and slow motion scenes.
Zack Snyder also does all the terrible lighting as well.
No, the one thing I will say that I have always appreciated about Zack Snyder movies is that they are always well lit. They're always the cinematography typically is very good in a Zack Snyder movie. He gets the visuals down, but he has a thing for slow motion. And yeah.
Who is it who does the terribly lit movies?
Whoever did the last Batman movie. Oh my god.
Because if he and Michael Bay did a movie together, then all you'd be able to see was the explosions.
You'd actually be able to see something in the movie, yeah. John says there are no unnecessary explosions in a Transformers movie. That's possible. Christopher Nolan has terrible lighting and sound production.
Thank you, John.
Okay, you're not wrong. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're not wrong. The Dark Knight trilogy was excessively dark night in some areas. He took the name Dark Knight a little too seriously.
Maybe a little.
Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, pour myself a little more Rowan Co. because cheers. But yeah.
So you're over there. You're over there drinking, and I'm over here dancing because I've got a song stuck in my head. And
it's all good.
I have Pink Pony Club stuck on my head and like repeat right now.
Okay, so you know what's fun? Okay, so that's Chappell Roan. The funny thing about that is that I have been walking around the last couple days going with Hot to Go stuck in my head.
Oh yeah,
it happens. I don't care. I don't care if you like her music or you dislike her music or where you stand on that topic. if you hear that song, it's what I call an earworm. It just gets stuck in there and you can't get it out. Exactly. And I'm walking around going, H-O-T-T-O-G-O. You know,
Yeah.
I was walking around Comic-Con this past weekend. And I'm humming that to me myself because there was a couple of Chapel Roan cosplays that walked through.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna take that down off the screen for a second because I have to find their card. But I bought this.
Oh, they're so pretty.
They had this really cool table of artwork there, and I got to find their name, and I know because they gave it to me. Hold on a second. I have a card here from them. When all else fails, read the card they gave you, Tim. Hold on.
If only you had taped it to it. Or put it in its plastic container.
I put it in its plastic container so I wouldn't lose it. Look at me being efficient and then forgetful.
Yay! Oh, they just turned that into Macarena.
I don't have the ADHD. I don't have the ADHDs. I have all 80 of them.
I have 80 ADHDs.
But I absolutely love this picture from these guys, and they're called Comfort and Adam. But you can find them at Comfort and Adam on all your socials. Go check them out. They have some amazing artwork. And I didn't have enough of the monies. Hold on, I dropped a picture.
Is it and spelled out or and the ampersand?
And the word. So Comfort and Adam, at Comfort and Adam. And you should be able to find them on Instagram, Facebook, the Dead Bird app that we don't tell people to go to anymore. Yeah. But yeah, you can
I have admin.
Look at you go. At Comfort and Adam. There we go. But yeah, these guys are amazing. Their artwork is so good. And then to top it off, they were incredibly sweet. I mean, they were just so cool to talk to. But yeah, I really enjoyed their booth, and I may have stalked their booth a little bit. So sorry if the creepy old guy with the gray beard was walking around like, "Hi, it's me again. I still like your pictures." And is it 80? Your old age.
I shouldn't be allowed to have admin abilities.
No, you shouldn't.
John logged me in on his.
So, and I know it'll shock nobody, but I also picked up some Funko Pops this past week. I know, right? But I'm just showing off some of the stuff I got at Comic-Con, and then we'll get back into our list of things that we were supposed to talk about, because this is what happens when you give somebody with ADHD the opportunity to do things. So there was another booth, and I don't remember their name either, but I have a card. I check. I could find. I don't have a card for them. I would have to check my hold on. I'll check my pay receipts. Hold on. I can do this.
So while you do that, I'm going to show off
Rainbow Dragon Prince. Rainbow Dragon Prince. This is my absolute favorite sticker.
Yup.
Rated. All of that is very, very true. And t-shirt. It might need to go on a t-shirt. I got this. Crit Happens.
Love it.
And then this one, because yes, this is the darkest timeline.
Oh.
I was like, sadly accurate. I'll buy it.
So I pre-ordered a dice set from Hot Topic.
Noise.
Because they had this beautiful thing. You can't even see it, and it makes me mad. So it is a cookie tin with dice, but the dice have tiny little spools of thread in them.
Oh, that's cool.
Because of the joke of all of the cookie tins always having sewing stuff in them instead. I bought dice. It was especially accurate because I have my cookie tin with my sewing stuff in it.
Nice.
Which I learned from my mother.
So I bought
I saw those are so shiny.
And that's why I bought them. I was looking at all these other ones, and it was like I literally turned my head and went, "Ooh, shiny." I'll take those. So, but yeah, we even got a cool little cup to take them out of. No, John, I refuse. I will not take them out. But I did get 4. I got Watto.
Whoa. Can't see them very well in the boxes.
No, I know. Scary face Jar Jar Binks. It is kind of a scary face Jar Jar.
It is.
I got Battle Droid.
Roger.
And I got this one, Haji Estra from the Obi-Wan show, the fake Jedi. So that helps me close out a couple of collections of things that I needed. So,
sorry, the Roger also made me laugh because Honora has 2 Ken dolls that she didn't know what to name them. And so she named the one Roger. And I'm like, well, what are we going to name the other one? Roger.
That, folks, is parenting done right.
And she laughs really hard at me every time if we're playing Barbies. And it's okay, so I'm Roger.
I'm Roger.
And it's funny, it's like they're nearly identical, but like their body styles are slightly different.
Okay.
So it's like the super fit Roger, and then the slightly dad bod Roger.
I love that the dad bod is Roger, by the way.
I know, it's just great.
Like the fit one, I'm Roger. And the other one's like, yeah, I'm too tired for that. I'm just Roger. Roger. I'm too tired for this crap.
Roger.
New dice, time for new characters. Yes, we might have to experience that.
A certain friend of mine has a Cairn campaign he wants to start. And when I showed him the dice that I have pre-ordered, he did the, ooh, you should be a grandma gnome character.
A Karen campaign?
Yes.
Like Karen who
No, Karen. C-A-I-R.
Okay.
Karen.
I'm just making sure of the spelling here so I know what we're talking about.
It is a D&D alternative.
Gotcha. I was just making sure. I thought that's probably what you were talking about, but I was like, because Karen, Karen and Karen. That type of Karen, yes. That type of Karen.
I think I spelled it right. I hope. Maybe. Ow.
It's possible.
Oh, no.
All right. Back into the slideshow we go.
Woo!
Whoa! Yeah.
Down once more.
Whiskey. Anyway, all right, so news has broke that Kevin Smith is getting Dogma back. It will no longer be controlled by that douche nozzle Harvey Weinstein. We'll talk a little bit more about Harvey Weinstein here in just a few moments, but unfortunately,
I mean, I know why, but also, do we have to?
Only in passing reference. That's all we're going to talk about him in.
Never in a positive light.
Nope, that's why we call him the douche nozzle. But yeah, that's even too nice of a compliment for him, to be honest with you. But since we try to keep this show somewhat family friendly, that's where we're going to leave that one for the moment. Anyway, I got derailed in thinking all the things I wanted to call him. So, but Dogma is going to be back under Kevin Smith's control, which means that we just had the 25th anniversary not too long ago, which means that I think what's going to happen is I'm hoping we're going to see a re-release of this, hopefully with some deleted scenes and all the things that Kevin Smith wanted to do with an exclusive Blu-ray and things like that he couldn't do because of the douche nozzle and all the issues that were surrounding that. I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen because this is a cult classic movie that I would love to watch again without an attachment to Harvey Weinstein.
On Kevin Smith's Instagram 4 days ago, to celebrate the 25th birthday, here's Jay Muse and Elenis and the late great Alan Rickman from one of my favorite moments in Dogma. In 2025, witness the resurrection.
Yep.
And then today he posted a video clearing up some misunderstanding that he is writing a Dogma sequel. As of now, though, and he explains this in his video, as of now, it's all in here. It's not here yet, but he is working on it. It is swirling around up there. So,
John says family friendly, but talking about Dogma does not compute.
Does it make sense that the first time I watched it was with my dad and my older brothers?
See?
Sorry, Mom.
Family friendly. Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
No, Dogma is not a family friendly movie. And no, you should not watch it with the littles. Unless your littles, you want them to be introduced to a whole set of language that is A, very Boston, and B, very not family friendly.
New Jersey.
That's New Jersey. Well, yeah, but Damon and Affleck are Boston.
Oh, that's true.
I know. But yeah, there's
little man.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of the thumbs up Jesus that I absolutely love, but
what?
Kathleen derailed there for a second, but it's okay. She was having fun. So yeah, Dogma's coming back. I would love to see a sequel to Dogma, especially if it has Affleck and Damon revising their roles as the angels. That would be just top shelf. John says, should I watch the Deadpool trilogy with my daughter while my wife is out of town?
I have already told you can't show her the third one without me.
Have you watched the third one yet?
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine?
I mean, no, I have never seen such terrible movies.
Okay, that's what I thought. Good answer. Okay, so, if you are interested in watching such Disney related movies, they are on Disney Plus. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Did you know that you can look at a kaleidoscope through your camera lens?
No.
I wonder if I can.
Really?
I don't know if I have.
How are you looking? You have a kaleidoscope?
I have a kaleidoscope, but you can like.
Ooh, I can see it actually. Ooh. Hold on. We're gonna do this. And we're gonna do this. And we're gonna do this. And we're gonna make it bigger. Yeah, we totally don't have ADHD on this show.
Technically, it's a build your own kaleidoscope.
Yeah, totally no ADHD on this show whatsoever. We both went from talking about Dogma and Wolverine to, ooh, shiny, we have a kaleidoscope. All right, so John says, okay, Alien it is.
You know what's funny is
do you want your daughter to sleep with you for the rest of your life?
Most recently, when it was an Honora and Mommy night, and I'm like, okay, so we need to find a movie to watch. And I'm like flipping through on Amazon here are the movies that are available. And I'm like, oh, Honora, what about this one? And she goes, no, Mom, that looks too scary. I'm like, but it says children in the title. It's Children of the Corn.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I'm scrolling a little farther. And I'm like, oh, what about this one? It's got a bunch of children in it and a clown. It's a sewer clown that kills children, but she was not impressed with me.
As well she shouldn't have been, by the way.
I love that my 6-year-old is just like, Mom,
no.
I don't remember what we ended up watching. She ended up picking, which was probably safer.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, no, probably. Probably better all the way around. All right, so into a nerdy topic, and we're hoping that you guys who are watching will have some opinions on this. This was brought up by producer John, and I threw it into the mix because I thought it was kind of an interesting topic.
Producer John's cute.
He's okay. Let's see. I'm getting text from my daughter from the other room who just... Hold on. Kendall says, a kaleidoscope. I'm not 5. Shapes and colors. You guys right now.
It depends on what pain meds you're on, Kendall. They get more fun. Pain meds, liquor, sleep deprivation.
Pain meds and kaleidoscopes. How much fun can we have? Well, and then if you have a coffee or Irish whiskey chaser, although I would never advise those things to be used in consideration or not in consideration. What's the word I'm looking for? In unison. Unison. Yeah. Don't
and
use them in
always
unison.
In moderation.
That's bad juju.
Too many Asians to keep track of.
Yes. All right. So this topic was brought up by producer John, and I thought, well, it's kind of cool. So the question is, why did Vader keep Boba Fett around?
Oof. Hit you right in the feels.
It does, actually. When you get down to the base of it, and John had a pretty good reasoning on this.
I mean, technically, I gave it to John, and he just...
You gave... Okay. All right, so I'll let you say it then, because if it was your reasoning, then I will sit back.
So, at least the theory that I was looking at, and the kind of general consensus that people came across, was that Vader kept Boba Fett not only for the fact that he was as good at his job as he is, but because he reminded him of Rex. And he missed his friend.
Yeah.
And then I got really sad. It's right up there with the day that I suddenly realized that R2-D2 never had his memory wiped. And so the whole time
he remembers everything.
R2-D2 knows everything. And all R2 and like somebody was comparing R2-D2 to like a dog. And all R2-D2 knows is that his friend left and abandoned him and didn't come back. Which is why he's not gonna leave Luke's side. Because it's the last time somebody told me to stay behind, they got hurt. I'm not leaving you. But then he has to realize that his friend who abandoned him is now over there being all big and bad and icky. And
I'm trying to take a hoodie off. It's not going well.
Reverse birth.
Because I was going to make a whole point about, and I just got derailed, about how Chopper is really very cool. Because, Chopper is on my shirt here. But R2 is the ride or die. He's the one who knows all the secrets. Chopper might have the body count, but R2's got the secrets. Plus, it's hot as heck in here, so the hoodie had to go.
It's like you're like 15 feet from a wood stove or something.
Right, or something. I am definitely or something at the moment. So
I also I know that there's a small delay in what we're saying back here versus what producer John is hearing hearing in the other room. But his
Toast makes an appearance.
Cackling back there is killing me.
So
hello, Toasty.
Yeah,
Toasty, yeah, I want to be kisses. Virtual kisses for Toasty.
That's from Kathleen. There we go. I passed it on.
Toast.
Yeah, she's sitting down by my feet, looking all sad and unloved because unloved. Because this corgi never gets any love.
I can tell because the couch hippo always gets all the loves.
She tries. She certainly tries. John says, Tim, I don't have any singles. Keep it on. Oh. Anyway. But yeah, so I really like that theory though about Boba Fett and Anakin. It makes a whole lot of sense to me because even though he says, I killed Anakin, Anakin was weak. I had to destroy him, or whatever the line was in Obi-Wan, and other allusions that were made in Rebels. There's still Anakin at the core. And there's still going to be things that are going to affect him. And I think because all the clones have the same voice, clearly it's not Rex, but it sounds like Rex. It's the closest thing to Rex he was going to get at that moment. So I really feel like that's why he did it.
And looking at Anakin Vader from a psychological perspective, yes, Vader killed Anakin. Yes, Anakin was weak. Anakin was also horribly abused and told that he was weak, told that he wasn't good enough, told that he wasn't enough. Of course, Vader's going to say that Anakin was weak because that's how he deals with what abuse he had. That was how he dealt with his trauma. He's still Anakin, obviously, from how the movies end. Spoiler alert, 45 years ago.
Not 45. Okay.
Close enough.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and you're right. It's just the whole descent from Anakin into Vader is something that is just mesmerizing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the story that Lucas has told through the prequels, and then you marry that with Clone Wars and even some episodes of Rebels, and it's more heartbreaking than you can really give credit to, because when you first watch the original trilogy and you're
Big,
watching those movies,
Big
they just
Daddy.
kind of gloss over it.
Yeah.
But the prequels really take you from here's a little boy to here's a broken man.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole descent in from Anakin to Vader gets me every time. And now now with the Obi-Wan show and
I
the
cried
interactions.
so hard.
Oh, that killed me. That whole scene was both that final fight scene was
So well
very,
done.
very cool. So well done. But it was also hard to watch because you were watching somebody trying to deal with their PTSD and not doing very well.
And it's so the disconnect and the cognitive dissonance that you can see even within Vader and within Obi-Wan in those moments too, where
for sure.
Vader's talking about Anakin being weak, and yet we saw his force power. We saw him pull a ship out of the sky. We saw his fighting skills, his flying skills. He is not weak at all.
Not even a little bit.
And this is literally half a man in a walking, like...
in mech armor, basically.
Yeah. Without his armor, he's not even alive. It is a walking life suit, and he's still able to do those things. There is nothing about Anakin that had ever been weak other than the Jedi Council.
Oh, for sure. It's just that it got drilled into his head that Anakin was weak and that Vader was the strong one. And so I still hold true to the fact that I think that we need a Vader series.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because there's so much that happens between episode 3, the one scene in Rebels where he meets Ahsoka, what we see in Andor leading up to New Hope. There's so much that happens between those things where I would love to see the how the Emperor messed with his head.
See, that's the thing too, is I want to see the rise and fall. Like, we've seen Luke's perspective of the fall of Vader.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at what point does Vader realize what Palpatine's done to him? At what point does he realize that he's continuing to be a puppet, that the voices in his head that tell him that he's weak, that he's not good enough, are not his?
Right. And the games, like, okay, so there's the Force Unleashed games that Sam Witwer played in, and I would love to see those become reality in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
I think that Starkiller could be brought to canon, because that would be the explanation of Anakin saying, I realize what's happening. I need my own Padawan. I need my own, so that I can move forward. Right. I need to get rid of the Emperor for everything that the Emperor has done. I would love to see that happen and come to fruition some way, somehow. Will it ever happen? Probably not, but it would be amazing to see a Vader series.
Even in his redemption, he's not just redeeming himself, he's redeeming the Jedi. He's redeeming the Sith on some level as well. He's
for sure, yeah,
balancing the Force in the most literal way possible. But he's also such, I mean, if you look at it, like I said, you look at it from a psychology standpoint, it is child abuse of what he was dealing with. He was emotionally abused by the Jedi. He was told that he was too old to train. He wasn't going to be a master. He wasn't good enough for this. He wasn't good enough for that. those voices became his inner voice. And it's as he grows and realizes his own strength that it was the, wait a minute, you're wrong, which unfortunately Palpatine uses to his advantage.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But then even in the sort of rebound relationship that he's in with Palpatine, because he just went from one abusive relationship to another. It's true.
I love it.
It is. If you look at it as the Jedi Council was his parental aspect.
You're not wrong. I just hadn't thought of it that way before.
So he's taken from his mom to the Jedi Council, to the Jedi. The Jedi then become his parent force. They tell him, you're not good enough. You can't do this. You're not. And those voices become his inside voice. He then meets Palpatine, who says, they're wrong. You can do this. You can do that. Show them that you're wrong, that they're wrong. He just goes from one abusive relationship to the next, which unfortunately happens in those who have child abuse scenarios like that.
Correct.
And it wasn't until he realized how terrible what Palpatine was doing, what Palpatine had done to him, that was when he realized wait, no, you're just controlling me the same way that they did. You're still telling me that I'm not good enough. You're still telling me that I'm not doing things right.
Absolutely. Let's see here. John says, I want to see Jedi Knight Finn training the broom boy from TLJ, The Last Jedi, while taking on a new threat to the galaxy, maybe a resurgence of the Nihil. The Nihil were pretty big.
Right, but we don't get to see Broom Boy ever again because stories are stupid.
I think we have to see a Broom Boy at some point. I mean, it only makes sense because he was clearly force sensitive. Nihil or Yuuzhan Vong, John, I think is the way that has to go. I'm hoping in the Rey trilogy that's coming that we're going to see one of the two. I mean, we need a credible threat for the Jedi to face. It can't just be, if it's the Sith again, and the Sith would be fine, don't get me wrong, because the Sith are a credible threat, but it would be, I think it would be more believable because the Sith had just been defeated in The Rise of Skywalker, whether you like that movie or not, but that's what had just happened. So I'm going with what's in canon. So that had just happened. I think it'll be more believable to see either the Nihil or the Yuuzhan Vong come back to attack the Jedi and present a credible threat to the galaxy than,
Just saying.
Yeah, it is solidly middle-aged, but that's not the point. You were close, but still.
I also get to say things like that because it's around the same time that my brothers were born, and
oh boy. All right, so yeah, there's a whole lot going on there, but yeah, Vader definitely kept Boba Fett around because it reminded him of Rex. He needed to. That was his version of touching grass. I'm pretty sure that's what kept him grounded.
Yeah.
Because not having that, I think he was already broken, and that would have just shown off how broken he was.
Right.
So. Okay, so on to other news.
I get very passionate about it. Sorry.
That's okay. I love passion. Passion is good. All right. So speaking of things that we're passionate about, this is big news for us. So we were asked to be ambassadors of Trek Talks. Trek Talks is an amazing charity that helps benefit the Hollywood Food Coalition, who helps distribute food to a lot of the homeless shelters in California and other places. And it's an amazing food coalition that helps people get fed. People who can't afford it, can't help it, and they need assistance. And this is just a beautiful, wonderful charity. So we are honored. We are thrilled to be ambassadors for Trek Talks. Now, the hosts of Trek Talks are two of our former guests, John Billingsley, who is, of course, is Dr. Phlox from Enterprise, and Bonnie Gordon, who is the voice of the ship's computer from Star Trek Prodigy. We've been thrilled to have both of them on the show. We had wonderful conversations with them both, And you will see John Billingsley back on the FSF PopCast here shortly.
Yay!
To talk about Trek Talks 4. And
He
Trek Talks
also
4
makes us feel like we are like focused on a path.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, John and Bonnie are just amazing people. They are so fun to listen to. Even if you can't donate to Trek Talks, which they'll have a ongoing telethon that day on January 18th, 2025, they will have a telethon going that day. And even if you can't donate, please go watch Trek Talks because there's going to be interviews with Trek people from all the way from TOS all the way up to Discovery, Strange New Worlds. Everybody's going to be on that show. And it's great to hear the stories that are told, the interviews that are had, the discussions that are had. Trek Talks is an amazing experience. And even, like I said, even if you can't donate, I encourage you to donate if you can, because it's a wonderful community and they are doing so much to help. And when you really think about it, so I grew up as a Star Wars fan, and I've always been like, ooh, Star Wars. Star Trek is the future I'm hoping for, in all honesty. Mm-hmm. And these guys are trying to make that happen. So, yeah. And while John, again, is not wrong, the Trek community is significantly less toxic than the Star Wars community as of late. You're not wrong. We don't call the Star Wars community the fandom menace for no apparent reason whatsoever. But yeah, the Trek community is trying very hard to reach the pinnacle of what Trek, what we've seen from the original series till now, what they're ascribing to, what they're trying to be, the future that they hold out for mankind. And yeah, so like I said, if you can't donate, at least watch, because you're going to get some really good entertainment that day. January 18th, 2025. Check out Trek Talks. It will be on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel. You're going to want to go check them out. And, but yeah.
60 days, 12 hours, 7 minutes, 40 seconds.
Exactly.
On my website.
And I believe it's just trektalks.com, correct? Or is it trektalks.net?
.net.
I haven't looked. .net. trektalks.net. But yeah, go check them out and see what you can do to, perhaps donate. If you can't donate, watch, participate, share the stream to somebody else. That's the big thing right there. If you can't donate, share the stream to somebody else. Get it into the eyes of everybody else, because maybe you can't donate, but maybe somebody else can. And your share is huge. John, would you like to be banned?
So the thing is, and I will defend my husband on this one, 32 days until winter, but that also means 32 days until it starts getting brighter again.
Okay, so I like that. We'll go with that.
And that is all we need to focus on, is the I like that part.
I don't like what John said, but I like what you said, so we'll go with that.
It's funny, though, is I was messaging Mimi today. So co-host Ben, who is not here currently, their spouse.
Hi, Mimi.
We were messaging today, and she sent me pictures of the snow they had fresh this morning. And then I sent her pictures of me and my dog and my kid out for a bike ride and a walk today when I was outside in a tank top in the middle of November in Michigan, because it was 55 degrees today.
Right? Yeah, I think 58 here in my town.
So dumb.
Right?
It's funny, though, is like, and I posted about this when I posted pictures today of Anara and Zoe on our walk. 6 years ago, when I had an itty bitty little newborn, I had posted a picture of me snuggling my itty bitty little newborn because there was 5 inches of snow outside. And I was outside in a tank top today.
Right?
It's not okay.
I was not out in a tank top, but I was out in shorts and hey dudes.
It's the same outfit, just a upside down.
I mean, so there's that.
I was long pants and a tank top, and that's the same as being outside in shorts and a sweatpant or sweatshirt. Just flipped.
Yeah, I've decided that as long as the temperature is higher than my age, I can wear shorts.
You know what's funny is there was actually a friend of ours recently who saw us out with Honor on, where is her coat? Like, at home. It was like 40 something that day. She had a sweater on. It's not like I'm an irresponsible mother. But it's if I put a coat on her now, when it's negative 20, she's going to be cold. If I let her adjust to it, cool her down slowly, she'll be fine. Got to adjust the machine or thermostat. You don't just throw a coat on the first time it hits 40.
No, you don't need that. Let's see. Innocence Lost asks, where is this event? So Trek Talks is going to be held on YouTube. You can watch it there on their YouTube channel. If you search Google, or not Google, but YouTube for Trek Talks, they do have a YouTube channel. You can check that out. You can also follow them from our channel at FSF PopCast on every social media channel except for the Dead Bird app.
Do we have a Blue Sky yet?
We have a Blue Sky, yeah.
Woo, go on.
Look at us go. You're welcome, Innocence Lost. But yeah, check it out on YouTube. Check it out on our. We'll be posting about it a lot because as ambassadors of the show, we are very concerned about making sure that people get to see this, that people get to understand how important the work that the Hollywood Food Coalition is, and what they've got going on, and we want to share that as much as possible. So, Trek Talk is an amazing event, and we encourage everyone to strongly check it out. Whether you go through their YouTube channel, you can also check out Trek Talks on all social medias. If you some social medias it's at Trek Talks and some it's at Trek_Talks. But if you just type in at Trek Talks or type in Trek Talks into their search bar, whatever social media you're going for, you will find them. As long as it has that logo, what you see on the screen there, you'll know that you're at the proper Trek Talks location. And yeah, there's every year they have a lot of really cool Star Trek people on there. And if you're a big Trek fan, this is a cool way to see some of the Trek people that you would love to hear from and would love to know how they're being involved and how they're helping the Trek vision come to be a reality. So check that out. January 18th, 2025 on your favorite social media channel. Now, last week we released an episode with Rick Hoberg. Rick is an amazing artist and inker and illustrator for DC. He did Star Wars through Marvel Comics, and a whole bunch of other stuff. He also was the producer on Pride of the X-Men, which you can still find on YouTube, which is the one with the Australian Wolverine, which is kind of screwy with your mind when you first listen to it. Because in my head, Cal Dodd has always been Wolverine. But yet he hasn't been always Wolverine. And so to hear a good day, mate, from Wolverine is a little trippy. I'm not even going to lie. But go check that out. We had a great conversation. We talked with Rick about that episode, Pride of the X-Men. And for that instance, of course, it's spelled Pryde for Kitty Pride. And but you can do the rest by yourself. But check it out, Pride of the X-Men. It's a really cool episode. And that is what set the standard for X-Men, the animated series, which was aired in the 90s, and now X-Men 97. Without Pride of the X-Men, we probably would not have either of those two series. So that's a very cool episode coming out, or not coming out, but already out on our YouTube channel and your favorite podcast provider platform. So you can check that out there. Now, coming Wednesday, in just 2 days, on the 20th, we are releasing an interview with Melanie Kinnaman. It's called The Final Girl. And it's called that because she was the final girl in Friday the 13th, Part 5, which is a new beginning. And
Final girl killed?
No.
Or the final girl standing?
She was the final girl alive.
Oh.
And she talks about why she was supposed to be in part 6, but why part 6 didn't happen for her. And
Could
not
it have
that it
something
had
to do with a terrible person we talked about earlier?
Actually, it didn't have anything to do with Harvey Weinstein, but the douche nozzle did sexually assault Melanie Kinnaman, and she does talk about that in the interview. A very brave conversation from Melanie, and I give her all the credit in the world for talking about it, being willing to share her experience because, she went through a lot. She talks about how she went just for a basic audition, and she had her clothes ripped off her and if you've ever met Melanie, she's not a very big woman. She is maybe 5 foot, 5'2", maybe at most. And she's very small, very demure. And I'm 6'3". I towered over top of her. And the sad part is, she was telling me the experience of what happened with her with Harvey Weinstein, because she's like, he's a very big man, and I looked up Harvey Weinstein. He's about my size. And I thought, that's how awful that had to have been for her, and how scared she must have been going through that. And then the reaction from her agent and everything else. And she was told to not talk about it. She was told to suck it up and just move forward. I can't even imagine the things that she has gone through to deal with this. But that's not the only thing that we talk about, obviously, in the interview. We talk about, being the final role, what that means to her, what that means to be a scream queen. And here's an interesting thing, and this is talked about in the interview quite extensively. America focuses on the killer, like Jason and Freddy, and they celebrate the killers. In the European countries where she is immensely popular, they talk about the final girl that survives. Hold on a second. I'm going to take Melanie off the screen so I can see. Nice. Be adventurous. But yeah. So she talks about how America celebrates the killer, but Europe, where she's immensely popular, they celebrate the final girl. The one who survives, the one who gets through everything, who's lived through all the trauma and all the crap and all the hoopla that they see on the screen. And it's a really interesting juxtaposition of how the two continents view things. So, but you can check that out in the interview. That comes out Wednesday morning, of course, on your favorite podcast platform and our YouTube channel. So I encourage you guys to check that out. I think you will enjoy it immensely. But yeah, that's all we got for tonight. I think, unless Kathleen has something up her sleeve.
So there are things that we can't talk about yet.
Anything with sleeves.
What?
She's not wearing anything with sleeves. But if she had something up her sleeves.
No. Anywho. There are things we can't talk about because we haven't talked about it yet. But I also know that you got contact information for some pretty cool people from Grand Rapids Comic-Con.
I did. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about them until I know that for sure.
I know, that's why we're not talking about it. But we're talking about it. But we're not.
They're coming on the show. I'm very, very excited. If they pan out like they said they were going to, we have some amazing interviews coming up. Star Trek. Anyway, if that happens, I will be very, very excited. We've got some great voice actors coming up. Now, those I will talk about, and some Power Ranger interviews coming up. We got some cool stuff coming up, and so I want to. This seems like a great topic to talk about. Please elaborate. I wish I could.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The topic that we're not going to talk about is the great topic to elaborate on.
However, if we're going to not talk about the topic that we're talking about, it's not that hard for people to go to Grand Rapids Comic-Con's website, look at their list of guests that they had this year, and go through and be like, "Ooh, maybe Tim got them, maybe Tim got them, maybe Tim got them," and just go down the list and be like, "Hey," and maybe we should start a quiz. We can do that on our YouTube, can't we? I shouldn't have had coffee. Woo.
There is a poll option on YouTube. Yes, if we post a community poll.
We should in our YouTube community. We should put a poll up with the guests from Grand Rapids Comic Con and see what you guys think of who Tim talked to and who said yes to being on our show.
Guess who had coffee? Guess who didn't? I'm not gonna.
Coffee and booze. And a 2-hour nap.
Oh, John, you are so screwed. Anyway, but yeah, so we should have some really cool interviews coming up, and we are so excited to share them with you. Even just the things that we have coming over the next little bit, the next couple interviews, I'm really excited. So this week we have Melanie Kinnaman on Wednesday, the 20th. On next week, the 27th, we have Alex Segura, who's an amazing author. Tim's getting red. Is the liquor kicking in?
Yes.
Possibly?
It's a liquor.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I almost said it's a liquor thing. It's an Irish thing.
It's an Irish thing.
That's why the leprechauns are always shown with big red happy cheeks.
Tim's eyes are nearly closed too. No, I'm just squinty eyed. That's just the way it works.
He needs stronger bifocals.
Huh? What? Anyway.
Also,
but yeah, no, this has been a great happy hour.
Behind you is kind of freaking me out tonight. The one with the tiara on, it's like staring over your ear. It's creeping me out.
Oh yeah, that's creepy. I didn't even notice that was there.
And it's like perfectly over your ear most of the night.
Right there, that one.
I just have
John says
creepy.
I'm not speaking cursive yet, John. Not yet. I mean, there's possibility. If I were to finish this bottle, then yes, I would totally be speaking in cursive.
Also, I still haven't fixed my sign from when Honora changed it. We are still the FFS PopCats. But the one S is backward.
I mean PopCats.
She asked me today what FFS would stand for then. I told her that she's not old enough to know that. Although we could be funny fiction science. But that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it still says FSF on it, right?
No, it says FFS.
Oh, FSF. Oh, well then, yeah, she's not old enough to know what that means.
Yeah, we are the for fart's sake PopCats right now.
For fart's sake. Don't say that too long. Too loud. Too long. Oh my god. Too loud. Toast is nearby. She might hear that and actually start trying farting. Right, Toast?
She's not cute little toasty buns.
Right? Yeah, she's ignoring me. She's just sleeping at my feet.
She's like a massive slipper. I love her.
She is. I never have cold feet. If you want to avoid having cold feet, get a corgi. They will sleep on your feet.
That's a solid plan.
So,
however, you will then have hair everywhere.
You should have seen. So my wife had to go across state this week rather, to help her aunt and uncle who are having some medical issues. And before she left, she's like, "Well, I want to make sure the house is clean before I leave." So she vacuumed the floor. Now we have a corgi, a pit bull, and a long-haired cat named Seven. And
women in your house with long hair.
Yeah. We bought this shark vacuum that does the whole swirly tornado thing, and you can watch the thing.
Is it just a hairnado?
Oh, it's a hairnado. And when she dumped it out, like the canister is like yay big, and it's completely full of hair. We vacuum every day.
I was gonna say, do you guys still have the Roomba too?
Oh yeah. We have not one, not two, but 3 Roombas going in this house because we have hardwood floors throughout, and the Roombas are taking care of the hair. She vacuums in the hard to reach places because the Roombas are circles, right? And they can't get into the square corners.
That is a design flaw.
It is a design flaw. I mean, they try very hard because they have the little sweepy whirl things.
Very weird looking.
A square Roomba? Yeah, it would be awkward. Maybe a triangle Roomba. Ooh. Anyway, yeah.
See what happens when we don't have Ben or John? We'll let the
then
two
there's how much Tim
undedicated
says.
ADHDs go.
We are. It's not our fault. We were left unsupervised. Just say it.
We need an adult here, adult.
There's more truth to that than you think. All right. Unless you got anything else, I think we have run the gamut of topics.
I think so. I think we are out of. I mean, we're not out of things to talk about. It's us. We could find something else, but pertinent to the show, I think we're out of things to talk about.
I think I'm gonna go find me a sandwich. That's what I'm gonna go find me. So
don't trip and fall. You're too old to break your hip.
Happy hour is over. I mean, please feel free to carry on happy hour at your own place and homestead. But currently for the FSF PopCast, happy hour is over. And on that note, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Live long and prosper as you find peace in the force and all that other stuff. Okay, bye-bye. I can't talk.
Kind.
Be kind, rewind.
Copyright 2024 FSF PopCast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF PopCast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com. Copyright 2024 FSF PopCast. Reference any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by FSF PopCast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@fsfpopcast.com.